Hello, good evening. Welcome to News at 10, our last bulletin for the day. I'm Stephen Ente. We're broadcasting live from the news hub at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. You can also hear us on 3FM 92.7, and we're streaming live on our Facebook page and on 3news.com. Let's start with our very first story. Let's start with the major news highlights. I beg your pardon. First Deputy Speaker has cautioned civil society groups not to impose excessive pressure on Parliament to pass the Right to Information Bill. Joe Osewusu said such pressures on Parliament is frustrating and could mar the thorough scrutiny of the bill before the passing. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of the Anti-Corruption Week celebrations in Accra. And some MPP supporters of the Ayawaso West Wogan constituency massed up at the party headquarters in Accra to resist what they call any attempt by the party to choose any candidate other than the second wife, Lydia Ejako, to replace the late Member of Parliament, Emmanuel Ejako. According to the group, the leadership of the party is bent on selecting the late MP's first wife, Nana Ejako. Our news just coming in. Interior Minister has imposed a dusk to dawn curfew in Bole in the northern region following violence in the area Sunday. The 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, which was taken in consultation with the Northern Regional Security Council, takes effect Monday. 2 people have been killed and 2 others injured in the renewed chieftaincy clashes between 2 factions in Bole in the northern region. And officials of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and National Security are investigating the death of more than 100 tons of tilapia from some fish farms in the eastern region. The fish, which have since been buried to avoid human consumption, were from the Amuro fisheries in Asikuba Tropo Farms at Impakadan, Vision 2000 West Africa Fish Farms, and several other fish farms operating behind the Akosombo Dam. Let's start with our very first story tonight. The Interior Ministry has imposed a dusk to dawn curfew in Bole in the northern region following violence in the area Sunday. The 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, which was taken in consultation with the Northern Regional Security Council, takes effect Monday. 2 people have been killed and 2 others injured in the renewed chieftaincy clashes between 2 factions in the area. And the incident, which happened early Monday morning, has also led to the burning of several homes. It was alleged that some people from the Alhaji Abudu gate fired into the crowd, killing 1 person and injuring 2 others, while the other gate in the chieftaincy dispute, Mandari, was celebrating the Damba festival. They also allegedly returned fire, injuring 1 of those from the Alhaji Abudu gate, who later died at the hospital. Meanwhile, the Northern Regional Police have justified the curfew imposed on Bole. Regional Police Public Relations Officer ASP Yusuf Tanko said the regional security has picked up intelligence that the situation on the ground could escalate.
Even in the curfew has been imposed on Bole, a 6 to 6 curfew, and it was imposed by the Ministry or Minister of Interior as mandated by law on the advice of the Northern Regional Security Council. Last night, there was a disturbance at Bole when 1 faction in the chieftaincy dispute, they decided to hold a Damba festival. Some people who are suspected to be from the other faction used the cover of darkness and fired gunshots into the crowd, killing 1 person and injuring another. They also returned fire and injured another person from the attacking faction. So looking at the situation and judging from the intelligence that we are picking on the ground, it is likely this night some other people might use the cover of darkness to perpetrate crimes. So it is very good and very timely that the minister has decided to impose curfew on Bole. So far, if you go to Bole, the situation is calm. But in spite of the fact that there's calm at Bole, it doesn't mean that there is peace. So we are not taking things for granted. I have not had any report of people fleeing Bole. Even if people were fleeing Bole, we would advise them to stay put because the security men are on the ground trying to ensure that they have the needed protection. And we also patrol the night to ensure we thwart the effort of people who want to compromise on the security of the township. So far, no arrest has been made, but we are picking intelligence, trying to identify the perpetrators of the act, and the arrest will be made subsequently. But our preoccupation now is to ensure that peace and security on the ground, we dominate the ground with our men so that people cannot use the cover of darkness or people cannot in any way cause mayhem.
This is News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Adesawe, Kanda, and Accra. We have more news for you. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Now, some MPP supporters of the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency masked up at the party's headquarters in Accra. To resist what they call any attempt by the party to choose any other candidate apart from the second wife, Lydia Ejako, to replace the late MP, Emmanuel Ejako. According to the group, the leadership of the party is bent on selecting the late MP's first wife, Nana Ejako. Here's a report by Adjoa Adobia Osu.
The Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency passed away on November 21 in the United States after a protracted illness. A by-election is expected to be held 60 days after his death. Some supporters of the MPP marched to the party headquarters to petition the leadership to select the second wife of the late MP, Lydia Alhassan Ejako, after hearing that it intends to give the first wife, Nana Ejako, the nod.
What we have is a resolution that we are submitting to the party hierarchy to tell them that we are all for Lydia. Yeah. We want my leader to lead the party in the impending by-elections. Yes. We have privy to information reaching us that some people want to impose a candidate on the constituency. But you know, the grassroots is saying that it's not about imposing a candidate, it's all about the determination of a marketable candidate by the grassroots. So all we are saying is that they should give listening ears to what we are saying and rather come down and let us all determine who is marketable as far as the by-elections is concerned.
According to the former coordinator for the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, Clement Shamayoni, the petition has finally been accepted by the party executives, awaiting a decision from the steering committee.
Right, let's get on to the telephone lines to make head and tail with this. Call Emisa Kweju. Emisa is a political science lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, joining us on the line now. Good evening, sir. Thank you. We're extremely grateful that you could join us. Now, what does this mean politically for the New Patriotic Party, a situation where the late MP's spouses, we're being told two of the spouses are all gearing up to contest that seat?
Thank you very much for having me. When I saw this, my first reaction was, is it necessary? And the question is absolutely no. In the first place, being a member of parliament, it is more than getting that nod through an association of marriage. It should be more of competence, and so absolutely it is unnecessary at this stage, and I do not think that the party in any way is supposed to condone such a.
But perhaps the spouses of the late MP are taking cue from Linda Oklu. I remember that Linda Oklu's husband died prior to the 2016 elections, and she contested on the ticket of the husband's party, and she won, actually.
Definitely. Perhaps, like you are saying, they would want to ride on the wings of sympathy votes. But you know, Linda Oklu has actually stood, contested. She was contested by Dr. Pesa White and actually won before she went to the polls. So for me, I am thinking that it is too early. The man has not even been buried yet. It is too early for such developments to come up, and so it is absolutely unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary.
I know that the leadership of the party would say that I spoke to the Deputy General Secretary, Nanobri Boahene, earlier this evening on radio, and the key thing he said is that we should all respect the memory of Boakye Jarko and respect the MPP as a political party. But the protests are ongoing, and the protests are an indication of the thoughts and thinking processes of members within the party. The man has not been buried yet, but there is total clamor for his position as a member of parliament. Do you think this could have a negative implication for the MPP as a political party going into the 2020 elections?
Not at all. Not at all. However, the negative implications will be based on the decision that the party executives make. We know that the party has structures, it has processes to which it goes through to elect people to stand for parliamentary seats. And so we expect that this situation will also follow those same processes. If the party leadership does not, if the leadership doesn't manage this well, then there is a tendency for it to be, a problem. But as I see now, I trust that the leadership will let due process follow, rather than, kowtowing to such.
So if I understand you, you are expecting that the party will not cut corners, the party will not circumvent its laid down processes in choosing someone to contest the by-elections by going forward to handpick one of the spouses of the late MP?
Definitely. Because in the first place, these two women have not come out with any official statement yet. All that we are holding on to is what the some organized groups are putting out there, and we also do not know very much their participation in the party, their activism in the party, and so we would have to hold on and see how all these things develop. But definitely, I should trust that the party executives will let due process follow, rather than just get up and pick someone based on, and pick one of the wives, based on the fact that they would want to win sympathy votes and all that. Mr. Emmanuel Jakun had a broad base of support. When you look at his support from the campuses, Legon campus, Gimpa campus, and he had a broad base of support. I don't think that the party will need to impose one of his wives in order to get sympathy votes, to get someone to replace him. No.
Right. Mr. Emisa, before we go quickly, I know beyond just following due process, as you've said, I want to find out from you what other recommendations you will make to the party executives on how to handle this.
Well, I would like the party to, first of all, make sure that Mr. Ejakun is buried. His funeral is organized well. He is given the befitting farewell that he deserves, and then the party to now look at what has been happening when such occasions come up, and then go through that process, and not to favor anybody, and not to kowtow to any petition whatsoever. So, well, I expect that any decision that they take must be a decision that is going to, in the end, unite the broad base of the party. But Stephen, it always do happen that the party leadership both NDC, NPP, the party leadership normally do not very well listen to the grassroots. This time, I would want that the party leadership go down, listen to those at the grassroots, and then, based on that, let everybody who would want to contest for whatever primaries that it is, so that at least going into the by-elections, they know that whoever is standing is actually from the grassroots. All right,
Mr. Kwejire Amisa, we're grateful for your time. Thank you extremely. Kwejire Amisa is a political science lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. I'm Stephen N.T. This is News at 10. We have more news for you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament has cautioned civil society groups not to impose excessive pressure on Parliament to pass the Right to Information Bill. Joe Sewusu said such pressure on Parliament is frustrating and could mar the thorough scrutiny of the bill before its passage. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of the Anti-Corruption Week celebrations in Accra.
The first Deputy Speaker was reacting to concerns by the Deputy Commissioner of Shraj, Richard Quayson, that Parliament has delayed passing the RTI bill, which is hampering Ghana's efforts in fighting against corruption.
Information bill, which was laid in the various parliaments of the Fourth Republic, is still pending before Parliament, and there are mixed signals as to whether it will become law anytime soon. We urge government and Parliament to do everything necessary to meet the aspirations of the good people of Ghana regarding this important bill.
However, his call did not go down well with the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe Sewusu, who said Parliament should not be pressured.
Ever since I've been an MP, for the first time, one of the rare powers of Parliament was used so that we could go on and working on the right to information, and that was suspending the standing orders with respect to quorum. Because I was presiding, I realized that some members wanted to raise quorum. We didn't have sufficient numbers. And so I suspended the standing orders. Let's not give the impression that Parliament is frustrating the process.
He again indicated that citizens and civil society groups should fall on Section 47 of the Local Government Act to demand transparency from government.
Sometimes it's also frustrating the way we behave. We behave as if law is just enactment. If you look at the Local Governance Act, Section 47, anybody you Google, you find it. It is there that every resident of a district has the right to ask for any information in any of the district assemblies. It was passed 2 years ago. I'm not aware that anybody has ever used it.
Vice President Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia pleaded with Parliament to ensure its passage.
They have considered about half of the amendments to the bill so far, so it looks like all things being equal, early in the next session in Parliament, it tells me this bill that has been sought after for the last 20 years, by the grace of God and with your effort, we should see it pass.
Deliberations on the RTI are near completion, awaiting final parliamentary inputs.
On construction of roads, interchanges and roundabouts across the country is expected to begin in January next year as the first tranche of the 2 billion Chinese Sino-Hydro loan agreement, which has been approved by Parliament, kicks in. The Minister for Roads and Highways has meanwhile promised to ensure value for money after the minority raised such concerns.
The $646.6 million is expected to be used to construct road projects in Accra, Kumasi, Sunyani, Sekondi Takra and Cape Coast, runabouts in Takrady, Adenta Dodowa Dual Carriageway, and rehabilitate the Akimodan Ofuansi Road, as well as the Jasikan Dodi Pepesu Road in the Volta region. The Roads and Highways Ministry, in justifying the loan, noted 77% out of the 78,000 kilometers of the country's road network is unpaved. Some MPs from the minority side, though supported the need for road construction, expressed the need for each of the projects to be valued to ensure value for money. They insisted the over $646.6 million could reconstruct many more kilometers of road than what is contained in the current agreement. Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, for instance, said offices and camps to be set up alone cost $1.548 million, and Senate affordable housing, which has 8 apartments each, is going to cost 3,000 cedis each. This, he said, the people of Ghana are being shortchanged. He also suggested that moving forward, Parliament should seek advice from the Attorney General on which loans to approve and which ones not to. The Sector Minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, promised to take the concerns on the floor on board and also ensured value for money.
And that's how we wrap up on News at 10. Thanks for your time. Good night on behalf of the crew. You can log in to 3news.com for more news.